Sometimes I create my own DC comic storylines, so I'm not sure if someone ever thought of this concept, but I thought about Flashpoint, the aftermath of Flashpoint, and I thought about it as a obscure character, just a regular person in the DC Comics universe, and it's pretty much a self-insert, but um, I thought of uh, Daisy, Daisy Watkins. Basically, if anyone knows the obscure characters of DC Comics, that is the love interest of Virgil Hawkins, aka Static Shock. And I thought it would be a neat tie because we both have the same last names. So I thought, why not expand just everyone's day-to-day life, showing how interconnected the world is, and simply because we share a name, um, I thought making me canonically like her uncle or older cousin would be interesting. But for the sake of this, I'm an older cousin, and military background. They live peacefully, but I say during the event of Flashpoint, or I forgot if it's actually called Flashpoint, but the event where Flash goes back in time and or to save his mom, and then everything changes. Batman's Thomas Wayne, and everything is like wonky. But what would happen if someone also got caught up in that? Just out of like not oh, they're also a speedster, or they came to it. They just somehow got caught up in in some sort of way. They end up in Flashpoint in that universe at the same time Flash did, not knowing that someone else was there. And I thought that would be a very interesting story. And following that character, I thought it would be very interesting to see how um, someone without powers going through their day to day, knowing that everything is drastically different, and eventually, finding that they're getting these different memories while also trying to hold on, and they don't have the connections. They, like, I know Flash didn't have his powers, but this person never had power, so it's not like what are you supposed to do when everything is there and topsy turvy? What do you call the Justice League? But the Justice League isn't the Justice League. You notice that heroes are fighting against other heroes. When you talk to people about them, they either don't know the hero you're talking about, or you know, radically scared. Your life back home is drastically different, and it's you have to kind of play along because like you're you're confused. I won't say it's like drastically different, but it's definitely changed. Like your relatives treat you with more perceived respect, or at least you think it's respect, but they fear you a little bit more. This version of you seemingly is more assertive, more angry. You're you assume it's just because of all the inner politics, everything going on. It's you're a little bit harsher. Your niece is weirdly afraid of you, and the neighborhood kid Virgil straight up doesn't like you. You know, you like he's rough, like a gangbanger, and it seems like he's not the same heroic kid that you usually see. You start to bond and make a connection with him, and you start to notice that, hey, this version of him is around a lot, you know, and you start to infer something, but you see that things are different with you, and then your memories start to come back of a more aggressive, more assertive, not assertive, but a worse off version, somebody that attacks people. You yourself are someone to be feared, and it starts to kind of scare you. People start to attack you. You're not as active. You're not doing what gets you work and money, and I could make it like this generic, like um, gangbanger or ex-military assassin, but I don't want to make it so overly exaggerated. I'd say crime would be a perfect fit. That you're doing things that you're not normally, akin to, but you're not the top baller. You're just a high ranking gang member that you're getting enough money. You still got to answer to people, and you haven't been answering to them. You got to sell these drugs, and you don't know how to sell drugs because it's not you, and solely you remember. But what happens when somebody is trying to jip you? They could tell that you're off, and now you got to set an example. You got to keep this ruthful exterior. Would you pull the trigger? It's not like you know that this is going to end, or you assume like, hey, maybe I'll go back. There's a million thoughts rushing in your head, and it should be easy. And before you know it, you pull the trigger. You get the money. You act like everything is normal. But when you come home, you're shaking, but not as much as you think. And you have to ask yourself, is it because of the previous memories, or because you were always kind of like it? It was a scumbag, right? And you came home and you put money on the table and everyone's happy, you know? But more and more memories start to flush back. And you start to see this like new Batman and how he's taking people out, and all these memories are starting to hit you, and you start asking yourself, what am I supposed to do? Oh no, Aquaman and Wonder Woman, they're fighting, this war is about to happen, and you're waiting for someone to figure out. Then you see the Flash, or you see someone that seems like a speedster, and you think, wow, but no one knows who the speedster is. You don't even know. Okay, maybe it's this version, maybe it's that. You don't even know what really happened. You can like sense like the speed force, like you're somehow connected to it, but you can't really pin it. Then it strikes you. A memory that you don't want to have. A memory where you're assaulting your niece. And now you're remembering terrible things that you did, and how disturbed you are. And you find yourself snapping back into back into the real world, but you keep those memories that you had, how you what you were, the people that you killed, and now none of those people are dead anymore. And the life, the friends that you had made, the relationships, the all of it just snapped back, and you're supposed to go back to the original life that you had, but you kind of failed to adjust, where you can't tell anyone what you just did or what you experienced. You don't even know how to call the Justice League or who to call. You're scared that you're going to go back, or you're going to get caught. They're going to ask you questions, and comes a moral dilemma. What do you do when you have a secret that you can't tell? You start to close off even more, and your psyche is running through your mind. You feel stronger, more able to do things. You were a big time gangster. You had money, you had power, you have respect. You think you're going to let people push you around the same way? when people were, you know, bending hand and foot, not to be on your bad side. Now you're out in the streets. So it's like there's some positive things. Some people see that you're different, more confident, but then you're also reconciling with things that you didn't do, but you remember doing, and having to tell yourself that's not you. But it starts to become harder and harder. You can't act like it didn't happen. You start to withdraw. You start to change. Every time you see your niece, your mind doesn't know where to go. You start to throw up. Then you see a kid, you start following him because you built a friendship, a rapport. Like, hey, maybe I can have that. That's comfortable. And one day you find that he turns out to be a superhero. And now you don't know what to do, what to believe, who to go to, what to do. Your mind is so warped and torn, and you're not sure what to do. And you're not, it's not like, okay, you could just go and just leave the earth. You're a breadwinner. You still, you have financial responsibilities. It's not like, it doesn't make sense. It would make zero sense for you to be like this. So you think maybe one day the memories are going to go away. And eventually you get on this field trip. And the field trip, you go to Metropolis and you see a bunch of the superheroes. And they save the day from this villain, and they're taking pictures and making a speech. And then you see him, the Flash. And without a second thought, you hop up on stage and you say, hey, Flash, and security is rushing you. Do you know Batman with guns? And Wonder Woman and Aquaman fighting a war? And as Flash turns his head to see that you know something, he stops everyone rushing you. And you start to talk. You say, yeah, I remember that Wonder Woman and Aquaman were fighting, and there was this older Batman that was killing people, and the Joker was a woman, and I think that you had something to do with it. And as you talk, you start to say and confess things. I was there and I did terrible things. And talk about how you killed a man for the first time. And then you say, listen, I don't blame you. If any of that happened, I don't think it's your fault. But I need 2 favors from you. And as you stare into his eyes, you point at your niece and say, she needs an uncle. A good uncle, a good man. And as you motion, like it's a aura. You could see that the spark has left your eyes. You say, I need time alone. Just give me some time alone. You turn to your niece and you say, you're sorry. I can't fix what I did. I'm sorry. I can't act like this is normal. You get up and you walk off. The other heroes try to stop you, and and hold you. But you go to the police station, you stop speaking, you stop talking. They can't hold you. Martian Manhunter sees your mind and says to the others how broken you are and how it really has harmed him. The other heroes try to talk to you, but you say, is there any legal basis to hold me? And because of the law, they can't really hold you. And as you leave, there's a man named Barry Allen from the Star City Forensic Police Force wanting to talk to you. And that's the end of the story. So, I don't know if it's something good or something interesting, but I thought it might be something worth verbally talking about. I have to write it down, but hopefully it's a good story.